He closed his eyes and beckoned Picasso's Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, the painting Lester Bester had been painted out of in 1907, a work that was considered so shocking that it faced the wall in Picasso's studio for over a decade. But this painting marked the beginning of Cubism and was the seminal work of the 20th century and pointed the path forward. Picasso didn't doubt, but Marlowe feared serious delusion. That day he painted on cardboard, "I know what they say when they are here, but what do they say when they are gone?" In a dream, he saw a collage done on a mirror with specks of gold leafing over it, something he might have done but didn't. He was outside a gallery looking in, and entering, he saw paintings like his, but not his, very crude and awful. And simultaneously, he felt he'd stepped into the role of a visitor visiting his own studio. He wanted everyone to love his paintings, but it was not love he saw in the faces of friends when they looked at them. Mostly his visitors looked horror-stricken and were at a loss of what to say. He knew they felt pity, and as much as they would scramble to say something encouraging, they couldn't. But despite lack of encouragement, Marlowe was ambitious and wanted his art to be seen and wanted people to buy his paintings. And more importantly, he wanted his paintings to be worthy of being bought. And Marlowe knew they were often ugly, even by his lenient measure. And he had to bolster his confidence by quoting Clement Greenberg that all profoundly original art looks ugly at first. "The one thing, above all else, is that you must be fearless if you want to make art," said Art Smitten. Art Smitten had been Marlowe's mentor. Marlowe would have never picked up a brush had Art not given him the shove. It brought to mind the famous quote, rightly or wrongly, attributed to Apollinaire. "Come to the edge," he said. They said, "We are scared." "Come to the edge," he said. They came. He pushed them, and they flew. And now he was alone. No Art Smitten to push him, but fly he must. That day, as happenstance would have it, he came across some drawings by Art Smitten. One was a black and white abstract in the style of Franz Klein. The inscription, "Thanks, Frenhofer, couldn't have done it without you." Obviously, an idea for the Balzac Ale campaign. Marlowe and Art often talked about Frenhofer, the doomed genius artist in Balzac's story, The Unknown Masterpiece. In the story, the upcoming artist Poussin visits the currently popular painter Pourbaix in his studio for the unveiling of a new work titled Mary of Egypt. They are joined by the old master, Frenhofer, who offers praise but hints the work needs just a touch of something, and with ready paintbrush, humbly administers minor expert touches to transform the painting such that Mary comes alive before their eyes. Frenhofer deflects their awe and says he has merely mastered his technique, that painting must be more than technique, and he tells them he is stuck and hasn't been able to find a model with a human spark needed to help him finish his own masterpiece he'd been working on for 10 years of a courtesan known as La Belle Noiseuse, the big troublemaker. Poussin offers his lover Gillette to model. She was troublemaker enough, and she inspired Frenhofer, and when the painting is finished, Poussin and Pourbaix come expecting to admire, but stare in shock, not sure if this is an elaborate prank or a mental breakdown. They see a foot, gorgeously rendered, a living foot coming out of a confused mass of colors, interspersed with curious lines. Their distress drives Frenhofer to despair. He destroys the painting and dies that very night. What not even Balzac could imagine was the advent of abstract painting. Was Frenhofer mad or not mad? A great painter or no? Cézanne was haunted by this story, as was Picasso, as was Art Smitten. At Club Banga, on the wall behind the bar, was painted an interpretive mural based on Frenhofer's painting. The surrealists liked the foot. The abstract expressionists thought it was superfluous. But what stood out to Marlowe was a small tattoo on the foot of a hand with love written across it and the signature, "The friendly hand of Art Smitten," a nod to the friendly hand of Guillaume Apollinaire, a simple and elegant gesture. Marlowe had a strange sensation, like a false memory. He was back at Smarty's party, but in the future. It was early in the evening, before things got really crazy, and he and Smarty were standing in front of the Fraunhofer mural. Marlowe indicated the painting and asked Smarty, "So, are you famous in the future?" Smarty laughed. "I have to be. It's my business model." He showed Marlowe his phone. There's a picture of the Jack Balzac jacket before it sputtered out. Smarty had 2 million hits on Instagram. "What about me in the future?" asked Marlowe. "Did I make a mark?" Marlowe was still smarting from Picasso's comment, "You get it, sure, but do you got it?" The enigmatic Smarty said only, "Ah, Marlowe, the future is not yet written."